Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, my name is Marissa Price. I am a social worker, healer, educator, business educator, which is kind of the topic of this impromptu live today. And the reason that I am going live is because I just became aware of a recent decision by an appeals court in Georgia regarding the Fearless Fund, which is a venture capital fund specifically directed towards Black women and other women of color to support emerging entrepreneurs. And this is a topic that is so very important to me. Hey, Mara, welcome, welcome. This is a topic that is so very important to me as the founder of Free Black Women Business Community, which is an online community I have to support current and aspiring Black women digital entrepreneurs. And seeing that, so if you haven't seen the ruling, I think it just came out yesterday or the day before, but I just saw the news article for it that an appeals court said that it was basically against the law to have a venture capital fund specifically directed towards Black women. Now, to qualify for these funds, I believe you have to have a business with at least 51% ownership, considered Black women or identify as Black women or women of color. And this grant program, again called the Fearless Fund, has actually been around for a while. It's based in Atlanta. But yeah, supporting Black women entrepreneurs, which we know is so critical with all the barriers that exist, especially when we're talking about traditional entrepreneurship, which is really the way I was taught in business school. Create a business plan, do your marketing strategy, have all of these documents, go to a bank, try to convince them to give you a loan. That's the traditional model of entrepreneurship that a lot of us are taught that we have to follow. And hopefully with Free Black Women Business Community and Free Black Women Virtual Solutions, which is the virtual assistance arm of my business, I'm hoping to educate people about the opportunities that exist for Black women, specifically in digital entrepreneurship, because it allows us to take the power back into our own hands, as Rashida Down, Stephanie Perry, what they've created with ExodUS Summit is a fantastic example of digital entrepreneurship for Black women. And I actually had the opportunity to interview them on my channel last week, which was a dream, still not over it. But we talked about like the barriers that exist so often for Black women when it comes to lack of capital to start your business. This is an issue I work directly on in the banking field. So we know that lack of capital for Black-owned businesses, specifically Black women-owned businesses, is a real issue. It's a real issue, and it keeps a lot of us from even pursuing our dream of entrepreneurship because we don't have startup capital. And that's the gap that the Fearless Fund is working to address with their venture capital access, providing Black women-owned businesses with startup capital. $20,000 to start your business can go such a long way. We know that we start businesses with zero and they flourish. Can you imagine if you had $20,000 to start your business and watch it grow? And that's what the Fearless Fund does. That is their mission. And so to see that it was ruled as illegal by an appeals court recently is very disheartening, and it's infuriating to me. And I think it's just even more evidence of the direction that a lot of things are going. They're trying to roll us back. They're trying to roll the progress that we have made, that we have worked so hard to achieve. They're trying to roll us back. And I'm not here for that. So if there is any way that I can contribute what the knowledge I have gained in the banking field, in the business field, to support Black women entrepreneurs, when we see these assaults coming from so many angles on us even pursuing this path, because they know how powerful we are when we go our own route, when we collaborate with each other, when we support each other, right, in our endeavors, when we share knowledge, we're the most educated group of people in the US. When we put our knowledge together, there's nothing that we cannot do. And they know that. And so that's why we're experiencing these assaults from multiple angles, as is the case with the recent, again, ruling against the Fearless Fund. And if you haven't heard about the Fearless Fund, I would definitely recommend you look up what they do, because it's inspirational. It's so inspirational. Yeah, again, they provide that startup capital, that infusion of funds into Black women-owned businesses, women of color-owned businesses, specifically. So the ownership has to be at least 51% in order for you to qualify. And I believe the grant amount is $20,000. And I watched an interview with one of the founders of the Fearless Fund. And I think she said that less than 1% of venture capital goes to Black women-owned businesses. And that was their mission for starting this in the first place. So to see that their activities, their work have been put on pause because it's ruled illegal on the basis that they're discriminated against people who are not Black women. So we're going to sit here and act like there's not actual disparities that exist that are the reason why these programs, these initiatives have to be created in the first place. It's infuriating to see this. It really is. But I hope to share, even with these decisions, right? We have the power to take our dreams into our own hands. We can still be entrepreneurs. The world of digital entrepreneurship, I think, is so, so critical for Black women because it doesn't require startup capital. You can start with zero. You can play around. There are so many free tools that exist in the digital world for you to start off free. ConvertKit, if you haven't heard of it, it's the email marketing platform, which I use. And I'm actually still on the free plan. And this is a way that you can connect with your audience, build a relationship with them. That email list, as I learned from Rashida at ExodUS Summit last year during her infopreneurship session. An email list is really the basis of having an online business, because this is how you connect with your customers. This is how you build relationships, tell them what you're doing so they can support you. And ConvertKit is free. The free plan works great. That's what I'm on now. But there are so many tools that exist now. And I feel like just in the e-commerce space, it's projected to grow rapidly. And I just see the possibilities that exist for Black women because so many of us are in toxic work environments. We have all the skills, we have all the degrees. It's not a lack of anything that we're doing. We're not lacking anything. In fact, when we gain more skills, when we gain more degrees, we're perceived as even more of a threat in a lot of these workplaces. So what would happen if we took all those skills, took all the degrees, the knowledge that we have, and worked for ourselves? And that's what I feel that a lot of people are trying to prevent us from doing because they know the power that exists with that. But we take our power back into our own hands and we don't seek external validation from these toxic corporations, toxic companies, toxic bosses anymore. What happens when we validate ourselves? And we step into that, we're like, no, we can start our own businesses. We can go after our dreams. We can fund what we're doing in collaboration with other Black women entrepreneurs. We can support each other. We don't have to rely on you saying, this is a good business idea. Here's your capital, because you don't need capital anymore. That's a huge barrier. And again, an issue that I have studied, researched, worked on. And to be honest, in a lot of these spaces, even though, we're brought in to address these issues, which was the case for me in the job that I left, I was brought in because of the knowledge I had. But when it came to the time of me offering suggestions based on the knowledge I had, it wasn't received well. So that's why I had DEI in the title, because I think a lot of us are realizing, DEI is often a scam for a lot of us. We're brought in to tackle these issues, and then no one wants to hear what we have to say. And in fact, when we do, push back against that, we are marginalized. They attempt to silence our voices. So this is real. This is a real phenomenon. From pet to threat is real, coined by Dr. Keisha Thomas and two other Black women professors. I will put that in the description for y'all to check that out. But from pet to threat is real. It's really real. So if you've experienced this in the workplace, if you are or were in a DEI role, you were contributing your knowledge, you were trying to improve things where you were, and it was just met with contempt at every angle, know that you're not alone. Know that a lot of us have experienced this, and it makes us question the knowledge that we bring, the skills that we bring. It makes us question ourselves, which I think is the goal. We come in so confident with all of, the skills that we have, and little by little, that confidence is chipped away by people who question what we're contributing, who, say little snide comments here and there, microaggressions, right? Aggressive behavior in like a micro setting, so like an individual to individual, is real. And that also does a number on our self-confidence a lot. So if you're experiencing this, you're not alone. You're not alone. A lot of us are questioning, is this even real? Are y'all putting us into these positions to harm us? Because it feels like we're being, sought after for these positions just for you to say that what we're doing is wrong, to make us question ourselves. So a lot of us have to pursue entrepreneurship, which is something I also want to, educate people about. Black women often enter into entrepreneurship before we're even ready, a lot of the times, to escape toxic work environments, to escape, things that are not serving us, people that are actively hostile towards us, to reclaim ourselves, our identities, and our skills. So that's real. Hey, Lee April. Yeah. Microaggression in the workplace brings toxicity. Yes, it does. Ooh. And that can be a whole other live stream because I have a lot of thoughts on microaggressions in the workplace. That is so real. That is so real. And so many of us experience it. I think you would be hard pressed to find a Black woman who has not experienced microaggressions in the workplace. Yeah, that seems to be like the place where we're targeted so often. The place where they like to chip away at our self-confidence. They like to try, it's the operative word, try, to question our abilities, to question our skills, to question our gifts, so that we begin doubting ourselves. We begin self-gaslighting. Well, maybe I did say that wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have said it that way. Maybe I should have put something different in the presentation to make it a little more palatable. Slowly but surely, you begin to question yourself. And that really harms you so deeply because now you're out of touch with your intuition. So now when you go to make a decision about anything, you're questioning yourself because they've done it to you, right? They've gaslighted you. They've attempted to question your reality. And now you're questioning your own reality. And that's when it becomes dangerous because our intuition is our sacred guide through this life, right? So when you begin to question that, you can find yourself in extremely dangerous situations and positions. But yes, I agree. Thank you, Lee, for saying that. Yes. But yeah, I guess I'll pivot a little bit to Exodus Summit. So I will be speaking at Exodus Summit this year, which I'm so excited about. I am nervous. For my introverts out there, you know that speaking in front of any type of crowd always brings a lot of nerves, a lot of uncertainty, but I'm moving with fear because Exodus Summit has changed my life. Attending last year, being able to connect with other Black women, who are on the same path of seeking freedom, freedom from these structures, from these toxic environments, from these toxic countries, and really taking our power back into our own hands. It's so powerful. So I'm excited to be speaking this year. I will be speaking on a panel with my friend, Angela. She is a social worker originally from the UK, but she now lives in Mexico. And she is absolutely amazing. And I'm so honored to be on a panel with her. We're going to be talking about being overprepared versus underprepared for traveling, moving abroad, seeking liberation, the things you should be worried about and things you shouldn't be too worried about. So yeah, we met yesterday to discuss, and I'm excited now. I feel like the excitement is like superseding the nervousness. So I love that. I love that. I do have the link to ExodUS Summit. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, they are still on sale. I will put my affiliate link in the chat. But yeah, if you are, hopefully that copyright, I might have to take some of the text out. But if you are a Black woman, again, looking to take a career break, a sabbatical, we know these are radical concepts still. Before I was introduced to Rashida Dow and her work around helping Black women take a career break or sabbatical, I didn't even know what these terms meant. I had heard sabbatical in the university setting. You know, professors take sabbaticals every so often. But I didn't, know that the everyday person could take a career break or sabbatical. So that was pretty cool. Okay. Hopefully this works now. Yes, you can still buy tickets. Again, the summit is all online, and it is taking place Friday evening through Monday. And these are all day sessions. I actually booked a retreat for myself, so I will be able to process all the information, because when I tell you this information that is shared is life-changing, and it will put you on a path to freedom, whatever that looks like for you. I'm not lying to you. Attending last year opened my eyes to the possibilities that exist for me as a Black woman in this world. I am now a digital nomad, right? So I'm now living in Mexico, traveling throughout Mexico. I left a toxic job in the banking field, a job that really impacted my mental health very severely, which I know, I'm not the only one. A lot of us are in jobs where our mental health is being impacted, and that's not okay. A job, you shouldn't have to choose between your mental health and a job. You shouldn't. So if you are looking to pursue your path to freedom, whatever that looks like for you, I would love to see you at ExodUS Summit. And there's also a Facebook community that I will put here. Yes, Lee April, right. Yes. And this is for Black women, the ExodUS Summit community on Facebook, completely free. So if you decide not to attend the summit this year, but you still want to connect with other Black women who are also on the path to freedom, I would encourage you to join this community. It's amazing seeing everyone traveling, leaving toxic jobs, toxic situations, putting themselves first. Just being surrounded by that energy is life-changing. So I would encourage you to join that free community as well. And yeah, I'm excited about it. Again, I'll be speaking this year. I believe my session is Sunday morning. I will be on a panel with my friend Angela, who is also a social worker, world traveler, currently living in Mexico. And she is in the process of launching her business. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, digital entrepreneurship has opened up so many possibilities that did not exist before for Black women. And I hope to continue to share information on how life-changing it can be, to take your power back into your own hands, to utilize the skills, the gifts that you have that are inherent, and skills that you've worked hard for, skills that you've went to these academic institutions that are extremely traumatizing. Let's be honest. They're traumatizing often. Being in these very toxic environments. But the skills you've gained are always there. You don't have to be in a toxic environment in order for those skills to exist. They're within you. They're not going anywhere. No one can steal the knowledge that you have. And I think that's powerful. I mean, in going back to, enslavement, that's one of the reasons why all of these efforts were put into place to stop us from being able to read, because you can't steal knowledge. Once you have knowledge, you can't steal it from someone. You can try, but now that I have the knowledge, I know the path forward. I know the path forward to freedom. And I think that's why ExodUS Summit is so important, right? Once you have the knowledge and tools, no one can take that from you. And you can't go back to not knowing. Once you know, you can't go back to not knowing. You have the tools in front of you. You have the support. You have the community who are also doing the same things that you're doing. And that's powerful, to be surrounded by that energy at all times, that know you can do it. It may seem difficult. It may seem undoable. But just look at everyone who has done it. If you ever need proof, that inspiration is powerful. Hey, enough by MNC. Hey, glad to see you here. Yes. Yeah, so I wasn't sure how long this, yes. You can't steal knowledge. You can't go back to not knowing. You can't. Nope. Once you have that, once you're able to say, I see a different way because I've learned this from someone else, or I've read about this. You can't tell me that what I'm dreaming about is not possible anymore, because I already have the proof. You can't convince me of that. They like to put barriers in between us and the knowledge and information that we have, or that we're seeking, so that we don't understand the possibilities that exist outside of what we're currently in. So ExodUS Summit pushes back against that. And the collaboration between Rashida and Stephanie is just magical, right? To have such beautiful, strong, intelligent Black women come together and be like, you know what? We're going to share the information that we've gained with other Black women so that other Black women can get free. That's powerful. So I'm excited. And honored to be speaking this year at ExodUS Summit. Again, I will be on a panel talking about being over-prepared versus under-prepared for your journey to freedom. Things you should be worried about, and things you shouldn't be too worried about. Because there are a lot of worries or a lot of uncertainties, especially when you're traveling abroad. I traveled internationally for the first time last year, actually, at 28. And if you can believe it, at 28, I thought it was too late for me to travel abroad, because all I saw when people started their journeys was study abroad. That was the only reference that I had. Study abroad in college, when I was in college. And unfortunately, the cost of that was always out of reach for me. And I didn't like the people that I went to college with. So there's that. I went to an extremely toxic PWI, predominantly white institution. So the thought of spending 4 months abroad in school with people I didn't like was never appealing to me. So ExodUS Summit kind of opened up my eyes to the fact that that dream that I had to travel abroad can still be realized. So it's powerful, and I'm excited. I'm very excited to be speaking. April, yeah, just listening to you. Oh, yay! You're going to do it. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. I do. Oh, thank you. I think your talk will provide so much clarity and balance. Oh, I hope so. Thank you. Yeah, clarity and balance. I love that. And I hope so too. We went over our talking points, Angela and I, who I will be on a panel with. We went over our talking points, and I think it will provide clarity and balance going forward, which you need, right? When you're making a major life transition, when you're traveling abroad. It might be the first time that you're even leaving the US. For a lot of us, the concept of leaving, traveling outside of the US is new. It's a new concept. And sometimes it feels undoable because of all the messaging that we receive. And it's been very interesting talking to Angela, who is originally from the UK, about all the travel that she's done from such an early age versus me being from the US and feeling like that was off limits to me, feeling like I could never travel abroad. Why would I ever need to travel abroad being in the US? I mean, the fact is we're global citizens. We are global citizens. So if we want to check out a new place, if we always, have had a travel destination that we want to check out, we can do that. And Exodus Summit really gives you the tools to be able to do that, to be able to live out that dream, to see that place that you've always wanted to see. Life is short. If you have the opportunity to see it, to experience it, to go to that cultural site you've always wanted to go to learn a new language, do it. Do it. Life is too short. The earth is here to explore, right? The earth sustains our life, and we can also appreciate the beauty of earth around the globe. We don't have to be limited to one place, especially if that place is not serving us, especially if that place is harming us, and is actively hostile towards us, which again, going back to the recent decision of the Fearless Fund, right? Against the Fearless Fund. And the Fearless Fund, if y'all are just joining, is a venture capital fund specifically directed towards Black women. And they also serve women of color as well. But providing grants, providing capital to Black women-owned businesses. And there was just a recent appeals court decision out of Georgia, I believe, that ruled that they had to stop what they were doing, that they had to put it on pause because it was illegal to only give grant funding to Black women entrepreneurs. So that's the state that we're in the US. These are real things, and I think they've been telling us, but they really are ramping up their messaging of what they think of us. And it's infuriating. It's infuriating. It's disheartening to continue to try to contribute your talents, your skills, your gifts to a country that continues to despise you at every turn. That's hard. That's a hard truth to sit with. But you can leave. You have the power to leave. A lot of our ancestors didn't have that. They didn't have that. And so I always sit with that truth when I get scared to leave, to travel. And I think I said in Stephanie Perry's chat on Saturday, she has a live every Saturday, if you didn't know. But yeah, that fear is real. That fear is real. Yeah, I think I said I had a freak out like every week, and I've been abroad for months. That's the truth. I freak out about once a week that I'm outside of the US because it still feels like so out there to me sometimes. But I have grounding exercises, right? I have breathing techniques. If you have your toolkit established, this is one of the things Angela and I will be talking about at Exodus Summit. Our live session on Sunday, this upcoming Sunday at 10:30 Central, I believe, we'll be talking about building a toolkit, a mental health toolkit to prepare you before you even journey abroad or before you even pursue your path of freedom. What tools do you have so when you reach those moments of freak out, where everything is new, there's new surroundings, there may be a new language, it feels very decentering sometimes. How can you bring yourself back to center? I think that's powerful. So I'm excited to be talking with Angela about that. Yeah. Hey, Tea Time Beauty. Yes. Happy Monday. Yeah. Yeah, I just heard about this decision this morning, actually. And when I tell y'all, I was like, are you serious? It shouldn't be surprising to me because we see the political climate in the US. But to see that Fearless Fund, a venture capital fund specifically directed to assist Black women entrepreneurs in starting businesses and growing businesses, an organization with such a clear mission and a mission that is needed, right? Their services are needed given the racial disparities that exist, that were created, that continue to be maintained in the business space. It was ruled that it was illegal to specifically assist Black women entrepreneurs. That was racial discrimination. So, yeah, that's where we find ourselves in 2023. In 2023. But there are paths that exist. There are paths that exist. Digital entrepreneurship is one of those paths. And I hope to continue sharing information of what I learned, of what I already know, coming from the business world, coming from the banking world, sharing that information in an accessible way so that we have these tools to build our businesses, to go after our dreams. Because they're continuing to try to put barriers, even more barriers, as if we didn't have enough already. So that's real. That's real. Enough by MT says, yes, one of my friends who was from another country told me the US is very large. And if you have traveled from state to state here, you're ready to travel abroad. Okay, that's a great piece of advice. Yes, they gave me so much confidence to try. That advice. Yes. Yes, yes. And I love that people from other countries are kind of opening our perspectives too. I have found that to be the case for me as well. Because growing up, being born and raised in the US, it feels very isolating. It feels like you're on another planet sometimes. You're not even on Earth. So to have other people from different countries share their travel stories, share their perspective of traveling in the US, I think is powerful as well. Because we're able to see, oh, you traveled here and here and here before you were even like 18 and you were fine. Because see, that's the fear, right? And Angela and I were also talking about this yesterday. The fear with roots in enslavement, right? Because we know that venturing out, journeying, you are met with violence. We still have those ancestral memories. Those didn't go anywhere. Those are passed down. So it can feel even more scary if you are in the US, right? If you are the descendant of people who were enslaved, who were held in bondage, who were taken from their homelands and forced somewhere they didn't consent to, on stolen land. You carry that with you. So the concept of even traveling outside of where you are, there's so much fear attached to that. That's generational. It really is generational. So yeah, to have other people with different perspectives from different countries share that you can do it because they've been doing it and it hasn't been an issue. Because a lot of us, I guess a lot of people who are not from the US kind of look at people who are from the US like, you don't travel internationally? That concept is no, a lot of us don't. And a lot of us are told we can't. A lot of us are told we cannot travel. We don't have the freedom to travel. We do. We do. And the more that you surround yourself with people who are doing the same thing, the more it becomes your dreams become tangible, and you can see how you can actually access them, how you can actually go to that place because there's already people in that place. For instance, in the ExodUS Summit community, right? If you join that community, I guarantee if you put that I'm going to, if you post in the group, I'm going to this place, this is my dream destination, people will be like, oh yeah, I'm here. Let me know, we can get lunch. It makes the world less scary, which is the message that they continue to try to push on us. that the world outside is scary, as if the world inside the US is not scary. The world inside the US is terrifying. Day-to-day life is terrifying. If you are Black, if you are a Black woman, if you have any other intersections in your identity, intersectionality is real and it makes our experiences different. But life is terrifying inside the US. So what possibilities exist for life outside of the US? That's just something to think about. Something to think about. Yeah, it is. It is. Yep. I'm still sitting with that ruling. Yes. If you have not had a chance to kind of educate, let's see. Do I have the link to that? Y'all, it's always a struggle for me to pull up links for some reason. But yeah, the Fearless Fund. The Fearless Fund. I would just Google Fearless Fund ruling and to see that they blocked their activities because they said they were discriminating on the basis of race because their offerings, their services are targeted specifically to Black women entrepreneurs. This was an appeals court ruling out of Georgia that just happened, I believe, 2 days ago. Yep. So it's real. It's real. But I know for a lot of us, we're seeing the writing on the wall. We're seeing the writing on the wall. Even more reason to join the ExodUS Summit community, attend ExodUS Summit 2023, time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom for Black women, taking place this weekend, actually, October 6th through October 9th. And I will be speaking on October 8th with my friend Angela, who is also a social worker and world traveler, originally from the UK. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And I would love to see y'all there. Tea Time Beauty, I'm so proud of you for leaping out on faith, looking forward to, oh, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah. And it's, sometimes taking a leap of faith, leaping out of faith, that's scary. I'm still scared. I'm not doing any of this without fear. And I always want to make that clear because a lot of times we feel like we can't move if we're scared. You can still move. With fear, you can still move. Fear is, I think Stephanie Perry said this in one of her videos. She feels fear and just puts it in the passenger seat. So you can take fear with you, acknowledge it, but when you let it control your decisions, when you let it dictate what you can and can't do, that's when it's like you need to put it in its place. Acknowledge it, but you know what you want to do. You know what your dreams are. You know the steps to take. And if you don't know the steps, you can ask. That's what community is for. That's what community is for. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Sorry for joining. Oh, no worries. What online community can we join to have access to a network of Black women who have left toxic work environments or are traveling abroad? Which platform is the group? ExodUS Summit community. Yeah, and I'll put the link in the chat here. But yes, I would definitely recommend you join ExodUS Summit community, which is free. And it is specifically for Black women. And it is on Facebook. And I know a lot of people have an aversion to Facebook. I had that as well. So I just set up a separate account from the one that I used to have with all the people that I don't want to talk to anymore, to be honest with you. So I just set up a new profile on Facebook. And yeah, hopefully y'all can see that. I might be having internet trouble. If not, I'll try again in a second. But yeah, it's a free community. The ExodUS Summit. If you don't see the link in the chat, you can just Google ExodUS Summit community on Facebook. Again, this is a free community that you can join. And there are so many Black women, yes, who have left toxic work environments, traveling abroad. Perfect community for this. Oh, no. Yeah, sometimes YouTube is kind of funny with the notifications. But yeah, I'm glad you're here. I'm referencing the community that you mentioned. You can post in the chat when you're traveling abroad. Okay, yeah. Yep. That is the ExodUS Summit Facebook group. For Black women specifically. And I know to be accepted into it, you have to have your profile. So you have to have your face on your profile so that they know that you're a Black woman. So that they can approve your access, and you'll get access to the free community, resource sharing, storytelling, story sharing, right? Knowledge sharing, meetups. There are meetups scheduled in that group. Meetups for people who haven't even traveled abroad yet, but are still building their plan. So in cities around the US, they have meetups at different times of the year. So that might be helpful. I would definitely encourage you to join. And also, if you want to attend ExodUS Summit this year, yeah, please do so too. I would love to see you there. Let's try this again, see if this works. Maybe having internet issues again. Yeah. Yes. Tea Time Beauty, yes. This page has been a great assistance for me to continue taking steps to build my future business. Yeah. This process has felt more fun. Oh, Tea Time Beauty. Thank you. And I'm so glad. I'm so glad to hear that. And I hope to continue sharing knowledge, resources, insight, real life entrepreneurship. My interview with Liz Walker about the real aspects of entrepreneurship. That was everything. Business coach who I interviewed last week or the week before, I think. But she talked about the real aspects of entrepreneurship that you should be prepared for. Outside of like the Instagram, like running through a field, is entrepreneurship. No, sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's difficult, especially transitioning from a toxic work environment, because you're also healing at the same time you're starting a business. Two very stressful things that you're dealing with simultaneously. So yeah, those are some of the real aspects of entrepreneurship, and I hope to continue to share those on this channel. So I'm glad they are helpful for you all. But yeah. If you have any questions about ExodUS Summit or anything, just feel free to drop them in the chat. Hopefully I'm still live because I'm having internet issues at the moment. But yeah, I think, with the things that we're seeing in the US, when it comes to, again, the recent ruling against the Fearless Fund, a venture capital fund specifically directed to assist Black women entrepreneurs, was ruled to be racially discriminatory against people who are not Black women, as if racial disparities in venture capital, in business, and entrepreneurship don't exist for Black women. That's the whole reason that we have to create these spaces in the first place. So yeah. Yep. We're dealing with a lot at the moment. I just want to acknowledge that. It's a lot. Seeing these headlines, it's a lot. I'm not even in the US, but these things still affect me, right? They affect people I love. They're real. It's a lot to deal with. Constantly being treated as if you are a nuisance. You're building things despite all the odds being against you. And yet they still want to come and try to tear down whatever you're able to build. It's a lot. It's a lot. You're welcome. Focus Rise. Hi. Thank you for joining. Tea Time Beauty. Yes, I overthink a lot. Me too. So creating structure to accommodate my dreams coming true has been more difficult than I thought it would be. Gotcha. Your channel helps me create more ease and clarity as I learn. Yay! I'm glad. I am an overthinker as well. Yes, I overthink everything. So yeah, that's actually helpful for me to know too. Creating structure to accommodate my dreams coming true. Okay, structure. Got you. Yeah, that is great knowledge for me to have as well as I'm trying to reach more Black women digital entrepreneurs, current and aspiring, with Free Black Woman Virtual Solutions, which is a business I founded to assist Black women digital entrepreneurs and to help us get to the forefront of the growth in e-commerce. Because me just educating myself about e-commerce, having been educated in the traditional business world, the barriers that exist there are huge. They're huge. But e-commerce has opened up so many possibilities that did not exist before. And I think, and I feel, I know that Black women need to be at the forefront of this because we're the ones that are dealing with the toxic environments left and right. We're the ones dealing with the passive aggressive bosses, the outright hostile bosses towards us. The more knowledge and skills that we gain, the greater we're perceived as a threat. What if we were able to take those skills and the knowledge that we have, start our own thing, and build our businesses in community and support each other? We don't need people to put a stamp of approval on our dreams that exist inside us that were put there for a reason. So I think it's powerful. I'm excited about it too. Lydia, hey, yes, I read this story. It makes me so bad. Me too. I was fuming this morning when I heard that. I was. Because again, we go through, I don't even know if there are words. We go through so many things. We have so many obstacles on our path. We still manage to create things that are out of this world, that are so creative, that are so inspiring, that serve so many people, despite encountering oppression from so many angles. And the minute we get something, it's torn down. It's torn down. The Fearless Fund, if y'all are just joining, a ruling was made against the Fearless Fund. They had to pause their activities. They have to suspend their activities to support Black women entrepreneurs because it's racially discriminatory. Okay. Yeah. Lydia, punishing us for striving to get out of our place. In white patriarchy. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Mara, I'm the same way. Got you. Okay. Structure. I will keep that in mind, y'all. Thank you for sharing that with me. Yes, Tea Time Beauty. Yes, we got to stick together. We do. Yep. And that is one of the things I am learning. I have the research background in entrepreneurship, specifically the challenges that exist for Black women entrepreneurs. But coming from a strengths-based perspective, tapping into social work a little bit, coming at it from a strengths-based perspective, we support each other. A lot of people cannot say the same. A lot of other groups cannot say the same. We go hard for each other. We support each other. We share knowledge with each other. The strengths that exist in that, can you imagine all of the skills, all of the talents, all of the gifts that we have? And we know they're enormous. If we're able to bring those together and create something in collaboration, work on our thing, share knowledge. Did this work for you? How did this tool work out for you? How was it using it? Sharing, the vast knowledge that we've gained from working in these toxic environments, we still have gained skills from them. So I'm coming from the banking field, right? I'm coming from working on, profit and loss statements, working on balance sheets. I have this knowledge with me, even though I'm not in the environment anymore, that I can share. And I hope to continue to do that. Yeah. The corporate space has less people in leadership who are willing to teach. Yes. Yes. They just want to take advantage of and make themselves look good. That part. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Thank you. Because that's so true. Yeah. And Rashida Dow was on Dr. Kamani's Lifting as We Climb Consulting channel 2 weeks ago, I think. And she shared about that. The reluctance to teach, especially when you're a new employee. A lot of us experience this. We don't know what we're doing, right? When you come into a new position, how are you supposed to know what you're doing before you even start doing the work? But a lot of us are put into that really awkward position of having these new responsibilities, these new roles, and no one to help us. Like you said, Tea Time Beauty, no one to teach us. So then that creates more shame that we internalize. Man, I should have known this already. How would you have known that? How would you have known that if you've never done it before? No, the issue is no one taught you. No one taught you when they should have. I just put Dr. Kamani's YouTube channel in the chat. If you haven't subscribed to her channel already, I'm actually working with her as a virtual assistant on her channel. But she has so many interviews of Black women toxic job survivors who have left and thrived and just flourished. And when I tell you that is so inspirational to me every day to be able to look at those videos, like when I have those moments of fear because they're real, I can just go back and be like, oh no, she did it. And she was fine. She was fine. And she's thriving. And I'm clapping for her. Yes. Focusrite. Digital space really opens new opportunities. It does. It does. Thank you. Yes, it does. I'm excited about digital entrepreneurship for Black women specifically. What can we do? What can't we do? I think that's really the question. What can't we do? There are so many avenues that you can go with digital entrepreneurship. You can take teaching online. You can create your own course. You can be a consultant. The possibilities are endless. You can be a financial educator, like Adelia Borshade of Picky Girl Travels the World, who I will be interviewing tomorrow at 8 Eastern on my channel. We're going to be talking about financial freedom for Black women, how Black women can move abroad to achieve financial freedom, because we know that achieving that within the confines of the US is very difficult. Not that it's impossible, but it is difficult. And leaving the US, possibilities open up for you to achieve financial freedom that you could not in the US. I know for me, even working in banking, right? Working in a job that had a lot of benefits financially, I could not achieve what was always told to me as the American dream. Even with that, even staying in an environment that was very toxic to my spirit. Buying a house was still impossible for me. I am a first-generation college student. I do not have anybody to be like, can you give me like $1 million loan real quick so I can, buy this? I don't have that. I don't have any of those things. So this American dream that we're sold, that we have to achieve, we have to go after, it's not possible for a lot of us because of the systems that exist. And so we internalize that shame as something's wrong with us. When really it's the systems and the people who uphold the systems. It's their blame. It's their blame. Mm-hmm. And we can be such quick learners. Yes, it's time we create for our own community who need what we have to offer. Yes. They deserve our work ethic more than these corporations. Tea Time Beauty. Yes. Yes. In that part, we can be such quick learners. We can. Yep. It has been 6 months, I think, since I've left the 9-to-5 world. And when I tell you I've learned so many tools, digital tools, And I had so much hesitation around, I'm not going to be able to do this. When really you have to remind yourself who you are. Look back at your track record. How many times have you learned something that you didn't think you could? How many times have you had to navigate situations of uncertainty? And you're still here. So you succeeded. So just remind yourself of your track record. Yes, you can learn new things no matter what age. No matter what age, you can learn new things and you can chart a different path in life. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yay. Yeah, you did. So happy to see you here. Yeah. Definitely my goal is to get time and location freedom via building an online biz. Yes. I love that. Yes. Yep. Time and location freedom. I love that. It's always been a struggle trying to achieve the American dream. Woo. It took me to almost 40 years old to realize that that dream is not for me. That part. And can I tell you, yes, it has always been a struggle. I have stayed in environments, I have stayed in universities, school settings that were really, really harmful to me physically, even to the point of physically. And I'm planning to do like a video on that. The physical harm that college and graduate school caused me in the form of migraines, in the form of stomach issues, right? The stress that we encounter in these environments, it really eats away at our bodies. And that damage is severe and long lasting too. All in the hopes of achieving a dream that, like you said, it's not for us. It's a mirage to control us. So yeah, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. But yeah, y'all, this has been amazing. I know I'm coming up on an hour. Didn't know how long this would be. Just decided to pop on after reading this ridiculous ruling, again, against the Fearless Fund, saying that assisting Black women entrepreneurs in the venture capital space. I think the founder said during an interview I watched with her, less than 1% of venture capital goes towards Black women entrepreneurs. And even with that, they ruled that it was illegal to help Black women, less than 1%. So that tells me some things. So yeah, I decided to come on here, express how infuriated I am with this. I know a lot of us are seeing signs and things, proof that structures, powers that be are trying to roll us back, roll the progress that we made, that we fought for, roll it back. And that's real. That's real. So I'm so glad that y'all joined me today. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you at ExodUS Summit. Again, I will put the link here, my affiliate link. Okay. One day I'm going to get these links, y'all. One day. Yeah. I hope to see you at ExodUS Summit again. It's this weekend. You still have time to buy tickets if you haven't already. The theme this year is time freedom, location freedom, financial freedom for Black women. And I believe there are 24 speakers. I will be speaking with my friend Angela, who is also a social worker, on Sunday morning at 11:30 Eastern. That is our session focused on being overprepared versus underprepared on your journey to liberation, on your journey abroad, things that you should keep in mind, things you should be worried about, and also not be too worried about, and kind of just go with the flow and release those worries. So yeah, I'm excited. Jackie, oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Y'all, Jackie has an amazing book, Hush Money. And yes, I wish I would have had this book at the toxic job I was at. I wish I would have known about it because she walks you through the steps of how to negotiate a severance agreement from a toxic work environment. Revolutionary. Take the power back into your own hands. You know that they're going to treat you a certain way, right, when you enter into these work environments, but you also have the ability to do something about it. You're not powerless. You're not powerless. Illegal. Yes, illegal. Yep. Illegal. Yep. The appeals court in Georgia, I believe, yeah, just ruled that it was illegal for the Fearless Fund to continue to just serve Black women entrepreneurs. So that's a situation we find ourselves in the U.S. in 2023. Here's an article about it. That's where we find ourselves. Less than 1% of venture capital goes towards Black women entrepreneurs. And even that's too much. Even that's illegal, right? In quotes, to assist Black women with starting, growing businesses so that we can take our ideas, our dreams back into our own hands. So, yes, yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Same here. Same here. I'm inspired by your work. Thank you for everything that you do. Oh, Tea Time Beauty. Thank you. You were born ready for this. That means so much to me. That means so much to me because y'all, the self-doubt tries to get to me. I'm like, nope, you're not winning today. So thank you. Thank you. Yes, you're absolutely right. Stop walking away from your jobs empty-handed. That concept in and of itself for so many of us is new. I know it's new to me. I'm still like months into realizing, no, I have the ability to take it back. They can't continue to, treat us like this, right? We can take our power back into our own hands. Yeah, because I fell in, I know you speak about this a lot, right, on Dr. Kamani's channel, Jackie, right? The trap of FMLA, which I went through, which I received. 11 weeks I took of Family Medical Leave Act, which is available in the US, I think for corporations with 50 or more employees. Don't quote me on that. But this is unpaid leave, which I have thoughts about. I know that California has an option. Colette Elizabeth has shared this before. California has an option for you to be paid while you're on FMLA leave. So there's that. But it varies state to state. The state I was in, it was unpaid. So I took 11 weeks off from my job, came back. I was centered, y'all. I was well rested. And then things went downhill when I came back to work, which is the case for a lot of us. And Jackie, hearing what you've shared about how that is used, right? You think that when you step away, things will improve. You're really stepping into an even more hostile environment often when you come back from leave. So yeah. Yes. Hush money. Oh my gosh. Yes. Thank you. I would love for you to be a guest on my show. Yes. I would be honored. Seriously. I would seriously be honored. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Y'all, I really do appreciate it. I seriously do. Yeah. Jackie says, right, I've taken down over half a dozen racist employers and got 6-figure settlements. Mic drop. Oh my gosh. I never walk away empty-handed. FMLA can be a blessing or a curse. Yes. That is so true. Yep. That is true. Yep. When Black women go on FMLA, all you do is give the racist quiet time to finish setting you up. That part. Yep. Yeah. Fets. Yes. And please correct me if I'm pronouncing your name wrong at any time. My short-term disability was denied after I had to have surgery. I'm currently working on an exit strategy. I'm so sorry. And that's something else I had to educate myself on as well. And also hearing from other Black women and Rashida Dow's group from Burnout to Bliss, that short-term disability is set up to deny you. I didn't know. I didn't know that. My claim was also denied. So it happens to so many of us. It does. And it's truly heartbreaking to know that what I went through, so many of us have been through, so many of us have experienced thinking that people are going to operate in good faith. When really they're just out here trying to cut us at every turn in the workplace. So, yeah, I'm so sorry that happened to you. I am. Okay, wow, I love this, Jack. I need this in my life right now. Yes, I'm praying your next blessing is on its way to you quick. Me too. Me too. Thank you. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Just let me know. Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, we got to make this happen. Yes. I love that. I love that. I love the work you do too. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes. Okay. This is important. Yes. Before you do anything, please read my book, Hush Money. Yes. How one woman proved systemic racism in her workplace and kept her job. Yes. Yes. Yep. That's so important. And I'm so glad that we have resources like your book, Jackie, to know that we're not powerless. It can feel like that. It can feel like that because, man, do they, the daggers come out from every direction when you raise a legitimate concern, especially as a Black woman in the workplace. When you raise a legitimate concern, when you point something out that is glaringly obvious, get ready for the daggers to come at you from every which way. But you have the power to set yourself up to still benefit. You still do. You still do. Yep. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. And yes. Ooh, I'm sorry that happened to you. Yep. We're not powerless at all. We're not. No. This part, the E in email stands for evidence. Yes. Yes. I now know that if I am to enter back into a role, right? Enter back into a corporate role, any type of employment role, to keep a record, keep an email record from day one of things that happen, of things that people say, a daily log. And it doesn't have to be complicated, right? Keep it somewhere safe off of your work computer. But keep a log of things that happen to you, of things that people say, of just what happened during the day, so that when the time comes, and we know that these workplaces follow a pattern, when the time comes when they show their true selves, when all you're doing is being in your greatness and doing all the aspects of your role, right? Which is the case for so many of us. When the time comes for their insecurity to show through and for them to show who they really are, you have the documentation so that you can still set yourself up for success and triumph over their evil. Okay? Yeah. FMLA is powerful if you use it to put a wall between you and your racist employer. Jackie, you are dropping gems. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Yes. I love this too. I love this too. There are many free online storage sites that you can use to store your evidence. Dropbox is my favorite. Okay, that's a great tip. That is a great tip. Yes, we really have to work out an interview on my channel. I would love that. I would love that. Yes, because there are so many things, especially as young Black women in the workplace, right? Me entering into these corporate environments straight out of finance education, which was already traumatic for me, being the only Black person in my finance program, entering into workspaces without this knowledge. I was kind of set up for this. So the more that we can educate Black women, young Black women coming into these, of this is what you will likely encounter, but if you have the tools, you'll still be okay. And you don't have to go down the road of thinking that something's wrong with you, of internalizing what people are doing to you. It's them. It's them. And you have the tools to protect yourself and to preserve your well-being, preserve your peace. And there are other Black women who have gone through this exact same experience who can help you along your journey. Yeah. Tea Time Beauty, I bought a little small notebook that I kept in my purse, each page titled with location, date, time, and participants. Yes. Yeah. I've been making voice clips per your suggestion in one of your videos. Ooh, I love that. Yes. Yeah, that was something that I had to do to prevent the self-gaslighting trap. Because the longer you get away from the event and what happened, the more you can kind of get into that self-gaslighting of, maybe I did say something wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. Maybe I should have written that differently, or like, no, you didn't do anything wrong. It's them. It's them. So I'm glad that was helpful. I really am. You can fight back without an attorney. I never use attorneys because I refuse to split my settlement. I know that's right. Yes. Oh my gosh. Yes. Because that was another thing. How am I going to afford an attorney? Already having my short-term disability claim denied. You know, the income that I relied on was gone. So how am I supposed to afford an attorney? So hearing this from you is so powerful. And I think it will really help so many people that you don't need an attorney. Thank you. Fed says, yes, I'm about to use my FMLA. My supervisor told me last week that I'm doing a great job, especially since I'm doing the job of 2 people. Can I tell you that also happened to me? I was also doing the job of 2 people. And it was a struggle. I had to struggle to even get a salary increase. I had to convince people, push back that no, I actually was doing the job of 2 people. The patterns that exist in these workplaces when it comes to Black women, they repeat, right? They follow a consistent pattern. And that is one of their weaknesses, because they do follow a consistent pattern. When an abuser follows a pattern, you know what step they're going to take next. You know, okay, it's going down this road, so you're going to try this tactic next. But you can be prepared with resources like Jackie's book, right? I know what you're going to do next now. So now I can arm myself with the information with what I need to do to protect myself. And I don't just have to be out here at the whims of whatever you're feeling from day to day. That's powerful. That's powerful. Let me show you how to create evidence out of thin air. We got to make this discussion happen, Jackie. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sending you so much love, Tea Time Beauty. Yep. I am. Oh man, these if you're in a toxic work environment right now, I know so many of us are. Know that you're not alone. Know that you're not alone. And unfortunately, so many of us have experienced this. We've been through this. We know what you might be experiencing, right? So yeah, don't ever feel like it's just happening to you. It can feel like that. It can feel very isolating. But just look on, Dr. Kamani's channel. She has so many interviews of Black women sharing their stories of being in toxic jobs, surviving that, leaving, and thriving. That's not the end of your story. Your toxic job is not the end of your story. That's just a chapter. You just got to flip to the next chapter. That's it. That's it. And the next chapter will be it will feel so much better. And you have the power to leave that environment. You do. With your settlement, as Jackie is teaching us, she's giving us gems. With your settlement. With your money. So, yeah. Yep. Covert racism is a new method being used in racist organizations, and it's highly effective. Yes, I have so many thoughts about that. Covert racism. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. I know so many of us experience that. And that can lead down the path of the self-gaslighting being even more intense. Because whereas before it may have been clear cut, this person just called me this person clearly is discriminating against me. Now it's covert. Now it's under the scenes. Now you start to question, did I really experience this? Because that could be taken in multiple ways, right? Your body knows what you feel. Your body knows disrespect. Your body knows discrimination. When you're able to connect with the physical sensations of that. When that person said that to you, no, they meant it to cut your spirit. They did. So the more that we can tap into that, like, yes, covert racism in the workplace for Black women is so real. The more that, we know we're not alone. A lot of us are experiencing this. Yeah. And thank you so much for sharing your stories. I know that is not easy. That took me time. And to be honest, I still get scared. I'm still scared right now. I'm still scared right now sharing what I've been through. That psychological harm that is done in these workplaces, they often operate in secrecy, that you have to keep things under the table. Don't speak about it. That harm does not go away when you exit that environment. That harm stays with you. The effects from that harm are very real. And they're ingrained in our psyches a lot. But you're not powerless. With healing, with hearing other people's stories, with externalizing the shame. A lot of us internalize shame. What if we externalize that? Put it back on the people who did the act. Put it back on the people who tried to marginalize you, who denied your claim when they knew that you needed this leave, right? They knew that you needed this money because the way our society is structured, going without a paycheck will leave you, in financial trouble so often. So they knew that you needed that, and yet they still withheld it. That's their blame. That's not yours. That's not yours. You did the best that you could with the information that you had at the time. And the more that you gain information, like again, with Jackie's book, Hush Money, right? Yep. Oh, yep. But the resources that are shared in these communities, especially Black women YouTube creators, are out here sharing knowledge, gems to get free left and right. The more that you're able to tap into that, the more information that you have to make a different decision, to go down a different path, to take back your power, externalize the shame, say, no, none of that was my fault. None of that was my fault. And if there are certain things, I could have said this differently, okay, that's fine. But did you deserve that treatment? No. You didn't. You didn't. Externalize the shame. Yes. Recognize it. Tea time beauty. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Externalize that shame. Put that back. Put that blame back on the person who caused the harm. Put it back on them. Give that back to them. That shame is not yours to carry. It's not. No. All you did, so many of us, right? So many of us enter into these workplaces with the best of intentions. And they tell us, thank you for bringing your expertise, your knowledge. We need what you're saying. That's what they say to us when we enter. The cycle of from pet to threat is real, right? So we're in the love bombing stage. And then we get to the devaluation and discard, and things go awry. And then it becomes so confusing because you're the same person you are when you enter the workplace. when they told you that they valued your contributions. Things switch up. In the cycle of narcissistic abuse, right? Things switch up when you get to the devaluation and discard phase. Now, all of a sudden, what you're doing is wrong. What you're saying is wrong. Now you're taking up too much space. Now you're talking too much. Now you're pushing back too much. And it becomes like an endless cycle of confusion, of feeling trapped, like you can't exit, because the psychological harm is real. It's very real. So if you're going through this, you're not making this up. That's a message I always want to continue to put out there. You're not making this up. People have harmed you. If you're still there, people are continuing to harm you. You're not making this up. You're not. And the more that you can, again, document, as Jackie, gave us the advice, use Dropbox on your personal computer to keep a log, to keep a daily log, a daily record of what's happening day to day, so that when the time comes, you can negotiate a severance agreement. And as she also said, you don't need a lawyer. So many of us are told this. We need a lawyer. A lot of us don't have funds for lawyers. So we feel like we don't have any power. You do have power. Because as she shared, a lawyer is not required. She lays it out in her book, Hush Money. If you have your plan together, if you have your documentation from day one, or as soon as you have this information to start doing it, you can negotiate your severance agreement. You can utilize things like FMLA, short-term disability, to your advantage. So often they're used against us as Black women. Our claims are denied. We have all the documentation that they tell us they need, right? It was the case for me. I submitted it and they said, no, you're not really depressed. So yeah, that's real. That's real. A lot of us experience this gaslighting in workplaces. So if you are experiencing this, you're not alone. You're not alone. And, a lot of us going through this decide to pursue entrepreneurship out to escape environments like these. So that's real as well. And that's another thing, right? Why Black women entrepreneurs, it's different, the path to entrepreneurship. Our experiences are different than the average entrepreneur. We have the same basic things, right? We have a dream, we have a want for financial freedom, time freedom, location freedom. But we're also navigating oppression from multiple angles. We're also navigating systemic oppression, harm, trauma that are caused by these environments and by people constantly questioning our abilities all throughout our lives. We're not entering into entrepreneurship the same way as so many other people, and that has to be taken into account. Yes. Thank you. Hugs to everyone going or having gone through this. Yep. Yeah. Sending y'all hugs, for real. Yep. Miss Hurricane. Yes. Hey, nice to see you. Yes. Pet to Threat is so real. Ask me how I know. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Yep. Happened to me as well, right? From pet to threat. I didn't have the words for it at the time. I had the feeling. I didn't have the words for it. I knew that something changed along the way, and it's confusing. Because you're like, now, when did this happen? Now, when did this switch occur? It's confusing, it's disorienting, and it can lead to things like feelings of depression, feelings of anxiety, which is what I experienced. That's real. Our journey to freedom. Hello. Yes. So happy to have so many Black women shining the light towards freedom. Me too. I was just talking with Angela, who is my panel mate for ExodUS Summit 2023 coming up this weekend. I'll be speaking on Sunday morning at 11:30 Eastern. about being overprepared versus underprepared for your journey to freedom and liberation. We were just talking about that. How many of us have connected with each other and we're on the same wavelength of saying no more. It's tired. It's over. It's over. Even going back to, the topic of this, one of the topics of this live stream, the recent ruling against the Fearless Fund, that it's illegal to have a venture capital fund specifically for Black women entrepreneurs, when less than 1% of venture capital goes towards supporting Black women-owned businesses. We're tired of it. We're tired of contributing our knowledge, our skills, our gifts over and over to such a great extent, only to be met with contempt, only to be met with hostility at every angle. They make it seem like we should be grateful for any crumbs that they throw at us. No, because the amount that we're contributing, that we're putting in, is enormous, and the amount that we're receiving is pitiful. It's pitiful. Yep. Yeah. Yep. Her journey to freedom, yes. Pet to threat makes all the sense. Yep. 1 minute feeling like an asset, yes, to then feeling like, what's happening? Why is my life so out of alignment? I can relate to this tenfold. Yes. It's not me, it's them. Gaslighting at its best. Yep. 1 minute feeling like an asset to then feeling like, what's happening? Why is my life so out of alignment? That part. Thank you. That's real. That's what happens to so many of us. 1 minute feeling like an asset, feeling like they brought you in for a reason, like you are, you're at the top of your game because you are, right? You have the knowledge, the skills, you have all the abilities that you need. And then it switches up. It switches up because someone's insecurity gets triggered. And then all of a sudden we go back to a very familiar dynamic, especially in US society, although this phenomenon, Black women in toxic jobs, is global. We go back to a familiar pattern dynamic that existed in enslavement. All of a sudden, when someone's insecurity is triggered, now you're the threat. Now you have to be, in their minds, neutralized. That's real. That's real. And a lot of us go through that. And it's disorienting. It is. It really is. I filed an EEOC complaint against my employer without an attorney and won. Yes, I'm happy for you. I'm happy for it. Not that you went through this because you did not deserve to go through that at all, but that you won, because that gives other people hope that you're not powerless. You're not. You're not powerless. Jackie says there's also something satisfying about watching the racists who tried to kill your career lose their jobs when that organization goes back and deals with them after paying. Ooh. Yes. I can only imagine. And we have to have a chat. We have to, Jackie. Yes. Oh, yes. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for being here. Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Yes. ExodUS Summit coming up this weekend, y'all. I'm excited, also nervous, but like I said at the beginning, the excitement is overruling the nervousness, which is great. It's feeling each day, it's feeling better. I feel like I can do this. But for my introverts out there, it's not natural. It's never going to be natural for me to speak. But the more that I lean into, I have a message to share, I have knowledge to share. The more that I lean into that and not really focus on the actual public speaking, the more that I'm able to be authentic, which is always my goal. So I appreciate that so much. And yeah, ExodUS Summit, time freedom, financial freedom, location freedom for Black women coming up this weekend. I'll be speaking on Sunday morning at 10:30. Why do I keep saying 10:30, y'all? 11:30 Eastern. This Mexico City time is throwing me off a little bit. At 11:30 Eastern, I'll be speaking with Angela. She is a social worker originally from the UK. She's in Mexico as well, traveling, but she has traveled all throughout the world. She has so much knowledge. She is in the process of launching her business, which is going to be so transformational, helping Black women who have moved abroad or who are in the process of moving abroad establish emotional toolkits, mental health support kits, so that when those feelings arise, because we know that moving to a new place can unlock repressed memories, especially moving out of a toxic country. Now you have a lot more free space, a lot more mental space to think about the things that you went through. That can bring back a lot of emotions that can be challenging. So she is launching a business to help Black women be prepared for those when they do arise, so that they don't catch you off guard, and you can have a plan. You can have a plan. Yay! Oh, thank you. Yeah, y'all. I do have a book. Yeah, I forgot I had a book. I do have a book. Thank you, Tea Time Beauty, for reminding me of that. Yes, I do have a book that I just wrote called Cocoon: Affirmations for Transformation. And this book will walk you, if you are in the midst of a life transformation, as I was earlier this year, leaving a toxic job, leaving the country, starting a business all at the same time. I wrote affirmations to myself over the past year or so, and I compiled them into this book, Cocoon: Affirmations for Transformation. So it's available on Amazon. You can get an e-copy, a physical copy, whichever one you prefer. But I hope that it helps you navigate difficult life transformations, and I hope it helps you trust that you will emerge from your cocoon victorious. Because a lot of the times when we're in our cocoon, right, we're in our space of realizing that something's wrong, but not really seeing an exit to that, not really seeing a time when we'll leave the cocoon and our wings will be there. So hopefully this helps you navigate those emotions that you might experience. Sometimes the painful emotions of realizing what you went through and realizing how wrong it was and realizing that none of it was your fault. Sure, there could be things that we could all do differently if we could change things, but you being mistreated is never okay. It's never okay. So I hope that this book helps you navigate those life transformations, with the affirmations included in there. And yeah, I'm excited about that. And shout out to The Garden, Alicia Renice's amazing community, for Black women rediscovering our creativity, which was so pivotal in me being able to even have the confidence to write a book, compile the affirmations I've written myself, put it into a book, and release it out into the world, having the support of The Garden, which you can always join. Let me see. I think I have the link to that. Yeah, The Garden is amazing. Tea Time Beauty, yes, 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 yes. I love it. I love it. Okay. You can always join The Garden using this link. It's an amazing community. Again, if you are a Black woman rediscovering your creativity, which we know when we tap back into our creativity, it opens up possibilities that we didn't know existed before, because we're able to connect with our true, authentic selves. What did we enjoy doing when we were younger? How can we tap back into that energy and know that nothing was ever wrong with us? We're put into these structures, these systems that tell us over and over, everything is wrong with you, so you need to change. And that sets us down a path of hurt, of trauma, of questioning ourselves, of questioning our gifts. How can we tap back into who we were meant to be before the world told us who we should be? Rediscover our creativity and rediscover ourselves. So yeah, if you do want to join The Garden, the link is right there. Amazing community created by the lovely Alicia Renice. But yeah, y'all, I have really enjoyed this, and I'm so glad that I pressed go live, because I was debating. I was like, I don't have nothing to say. Again, still healing from a toxic work environment where when I did say something, people looked at me like I had two heads sometimes. So being able to tap back into, no, I do have things to say. People do, it is helpful, the knowledge that I share has been amazing. So yeah, yes, Marissa, being an introvert is my limiting belief in putting myself out there. Thank you for your courage. I'm definitely working my way through being comfortable saying out loud. Yeah, I'm glad. Yes, yes, I am a staunch introvert. Staunch introvert. And I think a lot of people think that in order to have a YouTube channel or to go live like this, you can't be an introvert. I am very much an introvert. Very much. I can keep myself company for days on end and not be upset about it at all. Um, but yeah, I think YouTube has been a place that Black women digital content creators always have to shout them out, right? Folks like Stephanie Perry, Rashida Dow, Adelia Borshade, Picky Girl Travels the World, Alicia Renese, Dr. Kamani, right? Colette Elizabeth. Dr. Kamani's channel is Lifting as We Climb Consulting on YouTube. But yeah, seeing them share their stories, the real aspects of life, not sugarcoating it, not putting it into a palatable, format for social media, has been life changing and allowed me to see that I can also do the same. And I think the more of us who are able to share our authentic stories, share what has happened to us, share what we've survived, because we've survived so much. We really have. And we have stories to share. Every time you survive something, that's a story. That's a story with knowledge that can help someone else. So if you're thinking about different ways to share your story, I would encourage you to start a YouTube channel, because this has been such a growth experience for me, learning that I do have a voice. I had physically lost my voice at one point from being in that work environment. I couldn't speak. Like, my voice would be crackly when I tried to speak because I had been suppressing my natural thoughts for so long to try to contort myself in this very confining environment, which a lot of us experience too. So I would encourage you to share your story and let me know if you start a channel, because I want to support you too. I do. Do I have a podcast? I don't. That's a good idea. I might have to put that on the list. Thank you for sharing that idea. Yeah. Oh, you're so welcome. You're so welcome. Thank you for being here, y'all. I appreciate it. You are so amazing. Oh, thank you. You are so amazing and inspirational. And also all the amazing Black women who you are also surrounded by as well. Yes, are truly inspiring. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. Yes, I'm still learning to accept compliments. Thank you. I do appreciate that so much. And agreed. All of the amazing Black women I'm surrounded by are truly inspiring. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's so true. They really are. They really are. Y'all. It has been a dream to be surrounded by thought leaders, by Black women who are thought leaders in freedom. Me having a background, a basis in Black studies, seeing the same concepts that I learned about, talked about in the early 1900s, the late 1800s, of freedom. And it's always Black women pushing this, right? Giving knowledge, giving resources, giving tools. Harriet Tubman, right? These roots run deep. So to be able to be surrounded by Black women who are continuing to give us the knowledge, give us the resources, share their stories so bravely, I'm grateful. I'm grateful every day. And I'm grateful that y'all are here and y'all support this. So yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, you started a podcast. What? I got to get the link. I don't think that StreamYard can, that y'all can put links in the chat, but I would love to check out your podcast. I know that's amazing. Yes. Record your affirmations. Oh, that is a great idea. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. That is a great idea. I'll write that down. That is a great idea. And I appreciate you sharing that with me. Yep. Yes. I left a toxic work environment in June. I could totally relate to many of the experiences so many of us shared. Yeah. Yep. Once we start sharing our stories, the patterns emerge, unfortunately. And so many of us are treated the exact same ways in so many of these environments. And I'm glad you left. I'm celebrating you. Yes, your career break, right? The concept of taking a sabbatical or a career break is still new to me. It's not until, it wasn't until I came across Rashida Dow and her work helping Black women take career breaks. I was like, oh, this is something I can do, because I was feeling the burnout for a while, but I never knew that I could step away from work, because all I had been taught is I have to work until I'm 65, nonstop. So no, you can take time off. It is doable. It does require you to plan, which ExodUS Summit, if you join the community again, the free Facebook community, if you join the summit happening this weekend, will give you the tools to plan a career break so that you can get rest. You can take a break. You're not on earth to work. You are a whole human being, and you deserve to take time for yourself, to rest, to explore a new country, a new place you always wanted to visit. Allow yourself to dream of the possibilities. And I think that's what ExodUS Summit does so well. Gives us space to dream in community. Yeah. Me too. Yes. I would be here for that collab. Oh my gosh, yes. Y'all. It's called Travel Confessions of a Cubicle Dweller. That name is amazing. Travel Confessions. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you so much. Yes. Well, thank y'all so much for being here. I know this has gone on almost 2 hours at this point, so thank you for sticking around. If you're watching the replay, thank you for being here. Please feel free to like it if you like it. Comment, let me know anything like that, and share it. If you think it will help other Black women, please share it with them. But I want to thank y'all so much for being in the chat. All of the wonderful energy that y'all have contributed, all of the wonderful advice. Jackie, thank you. Everyone else, thank you for sharing your advice. I know me being in live chats while I was in the process of first realizing, bringing my awareness to, and then exit planning from a toxic job, being in live chats was the way that I really developed the confidence to be like, no, I can't do this. So I love that y'all are sharing that advice. And thank you for being here. I really do appreciate it. I really do. All right, y'all. Yes. Sending love to everyone. Yes. Sending love to everyone. Yes. All right, y'all. Until next time. Bye. See you later.